birthday celebration, a sunny afternoon, a sailing trip out beyond the Florida Keys. It sounds like all the ingredients for a very special day, but add a sudden storm and it becomes a recipe for disaster.
Harry! Woo! Come on, go get the coconut, go get the coconut! Come on!
April 14th, 1996 started out joyfully for Naomi Simonelli.
It's getting hot!
She and her good friend Gerhard Bitterman were going to celebrate her birthday by sailing her boat, the Odyssey, through the beautiful Florida Keys. Naomi was also bringing along her dog, Coconut Harry, named after his favorite game, fetching coconuts.
That's a boy.
I'd had that dog since a pup, and he's just my best friend.
Come on! Come on! Come on, let's go!
The weather was perfect for a day at sea.
We decided to go out scuba diving, so we put everything on the boat we needed and head out towards a channel.
The dog had assumed his normal position on the bow, and Gerhard and I were up on the bridge.
Boy, the water's really clean today. Down here, compared to the canal.
But an hour into their voyage, the sky turned dark and ominous.
The wind and the clouds were noticeable. There was going to be a change in the weather.
Rather than turn back, they decided to try to outrun the storm.
Normally, you can move away from the storms because they move from island to island. But it did catch us very quickly.
As the waves began pounding the boat, Naomi grew concerned about Harry.
The boat was being tossed all around, and Coconut Harry was going back and forth. That's when I thought it would be a good idea to take Harry and put him inside the cabin. It's pretty treacherous to take him down the gunnel to the boat because it's very narrow and there's not handrails all the way down.
Good boy, Harry. Okay, go down. Hey, come on. That's it. Good boy. Good boy.
With Harry safe inside the cabin, Naomi returned to the bridge.
I'm coming back.
The boat was rocking pretty good. Then it did start raining, and the visibility decreased quite a bit.
As Gerhard and Naomi steered the Odyssey through the storm, waves crashed over the stern into the cabin door. Anxious to rejoin his mistress, Harry darted through the opening. But he never made it to the bow. Seconds later, Harry was in the water, fighting to catch up to the Odyssey as it sailed away. But the waves were too big and the boat was too fast. Naomi and Gerhard were unaware of what had happened.
We went maybe another 40 minutes or so, and then, like squalls do, it just went as quickly as it came.
You be a good boy. I'll be right back.
So I decided at that point I was going to go downstairs and make a cup of coffee. Then I noticed that the door was open a little bit. And I didn't see the dog.
Harry? Harry? Gerhard! Gerhard! Harry's gone!
Gerhard followed Naomi down below,
Harry! Harry!
but Harry was nowhere to be found. Naomi's worst nightmare had come true.
All I thought is, oh my God, that dog has fallen off this boat. I don't know when he fell off the boat. I don't know where he fell off of the boat. And the chances of finding him would be very hard because there were still a lot of waves. So if the dog was swimming, you wouldn't see him because he'd be bobbing up and down in the waves. I could just see him trying to reach me. And I was just devastated.
Key West Coast Guard Group, this is a trawler Odyssey. Come back.
Naomi immediately radioed the Coast Guard for help.
Key West Coast Guard, Key West Coast Guard, this is the Odyssey.
Vessel Odyssey, this is Station Key West.
And to my surprise, immediately, the Key West Coast Guard came back on the radio.
Roger, we have a vessel en route your position, over.
And they came. They came and helped look for the dog.
Vessel Odyssey, this is the Coast Guard 4 and through and 8, over.
Everyone searched tirelessly for the rest of the day.
The water was really dirty. You couldn't see a thing. So we went through the whole thing, and there was a couple boats we talked to, and they were looking out, and but we just couldn't find him.
By sunset, the search was abandoned.
Odyssey, this is the Coast Guard small boat. Sorry to report we haven't been able to find Coconut Harry.
The chances of finding the dog were zero at that point.
We're going to have to return to our station and continue our search in the morning.
The dramatic conclusion, when it's a miracle, continues.
Coming up, a radio talk show host takes on the challenge of trying to find Coconut Harry.
You're thinking, boy, you're never going to find that dog. You just kind of picture that dog out there bobbing up and down in the ocean, nothing around it. You just wonder, how the heck can this dog stay up there and tread water forever?
During a sudden storm at sea, a dog is swept overboard and left behind as its master's boat sails away. By the time they discover that he's missing, it's too late. The dog could be anywhere in miles and miles of open sea. As day turned to night, they were forced to give up the search.
We're going to have to return to our station and continue our search in the morning.
So we made the determination to go back to my home.
In her entire life, Naomi had never felt so low.
I just had in my mind that that dog was still swimming out into the sea somewhere, and eventually he would get tired and drown. That was one picture that kept going over and over in my mind, was seeing the dog's paw on the water for the last time, and then his face going in the water.
But Naomi's spirits were about to get a lift.
Apparently, a number of people had been listening to this story about my dog on the marine radio. So people started calling the home here, giving me encouragement, saying, you know that Coconut Harry's a golden retriever, and they're a pretty special breed of dog. They have webbed feet and chest cavities that allow them to float, and you should never give up hope that perhaps your dog's going to make it to shore. And if he makes it to shore, you want to be certain that people know that he's missing.
Encouraged by the calls, Naomi printed a lost dog poster with a picture of Harry on it and began papering the neighborhood with them.
The ad generated a lot of concern and help from other people that I had never even met. So there were a lot of people pulling for the dog. May I speak with someone in the classified section, please? Yes.
She also placed an ad in the local newspaper offering a reward for his return, dead or alive.
Let's go back to the phones, Dave. Good morning, you're on the BizBaz.
Meanwhile, a friend of Gerhardt's contacted a popular local radio show, Bizarre Bazaar and Flea Market, and its host, Gene Michaels.
We're more or less the voice of the Keys. We're very community-minded. You're thinking, boy, you're never going to find that dog. You just kind of picture that dog out there bobbing up and down in the ocean, nothing around it. You just wonder, how the heck can this dog, just stay up there and tread water forever? We've been out there in the boat before in rough seas and nobody around, and it's a scary feeling, so I can imagine how this dog was feeling.
Even though he felt it was a hopeless situation, Gene continued to remind his listeners to keep an eye out for the dog.
We're all like family here. When something happens to someone in the community in the Keys, everybody comes together and helps out.
As the days passed, Naomi refused to give up hope, and then she received a disturbing call.
I wanted to hear, what did the dog look like? And they told me they had seen a dead dog floating offshore, and it upset me tremendously. Where exactly did you see this dog?
Naomi didn't want to believe that the dead dog was Harry, but as more days went by, her spirits sunk lower and lower.
By the time the weekend rolled around, I had pretty much decided that I was never going to see Harry again. So I started packing up his toys and his food. I thought it would be better for me not to have to look at them every day.
Unable to face the situation, she relied on Gerhard to keep her abreast of the news.
I was still optimistic. Every day I said, he will come, we'll find him.
The people down here, they would not stop looking for that dog.
8 days after Harry had fallen into the ocean, Randy Clay landed on a small, uninhabited stretch of land called Key Lois, also known as Monkey Island.
Hey, Monkey.
The island was used to raise rhesus monkeys for research, and Randy's job was to feed and water them.
When I approached the Monkey Island, I noticed that most of the monkeys were up in the tree, and they're usually on the ground, free-ranging, and I knew something was wrong.
Suddenly, Coconut Harry miraculously appeared out of the bushes.
Dog, no wonder the monkeys are up in the trees.
I spotted a dog along the shoreline, free-ranging back and forth. Evidently, it's pretty thirsty.
This is the Coconut Harry dog that was lost.
I knew whose dog it was immediately because of all the flyers.
Randy had no idea how truly astonishing his discovery was. For Monkey Island was a full 5 miles from where Coconut Harry had been swept overboard more than a week earlier. It wasn't long before the phone rang at US 1 Radio.
We got a call that Harry had been found out on Monkey Island.
8 o'clock?
We were surprised and very happy, too, for Naomi and the dog.
There you go.
I'd call it a miracle, probably.
Everybody's gonna be
Gene Michaels announced the miraculous news over the airwaves, and a short time later, Gerhard picked up Harry at the station and took him home to Naomi, who had no idea that he'd been found.
And he said, I have something in the car for you. He looked happy, and we had been sad for so long.
It only took a moment for Naomi to realize why Gerhard was smiling.
Harry, come here! Come here, come here! Oh, this is good.
The face was like the sun comes up, you know.
Oh, my sweetie.
I was just so happy. I just was like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening.
Harry, where you been?
There is a God, and he must love me to bring this dog back to me.
He's all exhausted now.
It was really the best thing that's ever happened in my life.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Harry was home, and everything was perfect.
Naomi is certain that Harry's survival in the turbulent sea was nothing less than a miracle.
No one really knows how long Harry was in the water, but I know that the conditions were very poor and that the dog was unable to see any land. Harry never gave up. He had swum against the wind and the waves, and just by God's guidance, made it through the water, lived on an island with monkeys, which can be pretty dangerous. Yes, I do believe in miracles. I believe I was privileged to have one. My greatest desire is to really care for him and let him know how much he means to me every day. Yeah, Harry's my hero. He's my hero. And I love him.
What a story of determination and survival. Well, we wanted to see how Coconut Harry's been doing with his adventure at sea, and so he joins us now, along with Naomi Simonelli from their home in Summerland Key, Florida. Hello there.
Hi, Richard.
How you doing?
Fine, thank you. And yourself?
Just fine. So how's Harry holding up after his ordeal?
He's great. He's enjoying retirement.
Retirement? I thought dogs were born retired. But if any dog deserves it, it's certainly Harry.
He loves being retired. He hangs around the house all day, and we go swimming every day. And he's very healthy, thank God. And I'm just glad I have Harry with me today.
Well, we are too. And you mentioned swimming. Does he still like to go out to the boat?
He loves to go boating. He's the first one on and the last one off.
But what if there's a storm?
Harry doesn't like storms. He gets very nervous when the weather changes, and he will immediately run in the bathtub and stay there till the storm passes.
He hides in the bathtub?
Yes.
Smart dog.
Yes. Well, he's from Oklahoma. We were trained to go in the bathtub in bad weather.
Now, I hear that Harry has reaped some benefits from his story. Would you tell us about that?
Well, Harry and I got to be on a number of television shows, which was fun for both of us. And the SeaWorld people came and took us to SeaWorld, and Harry was given a gold medal for dogged determination.
Dogged determination. I guess that just about sums it up. And I want to thank you both for joining us this evening.
Thank you, Richard.
Bye-bye.